Hello everybody and welcome back. My name is Winback, and on today's episode we're going to try to keep it short enough that we can actually talk about all the talents in Tyrande. And that's who we're playing. It's Tyrande. She's a healer. She uses auto attack. She throws owls, stuns people, and makes things good. I know. It's such a good description. We're playing on Battlefield of Eternity today, one of arguably Tyrande's best maps in the entire game. But this is a YouTube video after all, so feel free to like, comment, and subscribe your heart outs. We do 4 of these videos a week, and this is the beginning of Healer Week. I am going to dive into 4 healers this week, try to tell you, at least entry-wise, how to play them, where they're working, what works with them, and the builds. But Tyrande, again, probably has a reputation for being one of the hardest healers in the entire roster to play, and that is with good reason. Her main healing ability, her Q, is going to be a 2-charge ability called Light of Balloon. Light of Balloon is going to heal an ally for a decent amount. It's going to be an instant heal, and it gets 2 charges. But the cooldown of those charges is going to... it doesn't just affect 1 charge. So when 1 charge is cooled down, you get both charges back. Works the same way that Junkrat's grenade launcher does, if you're familiar with that. Ooh, my god, he thought he was going to get me, and then we just stunned him right in the middle of everything that he was hoping and dreaming would happen. But having that cooldown on your Q up often is going to be the only way that Tyrande can heal successfully and efficiently, and auto-attacking is going to be a very big part of that, so making sure that you're doing those 2 things together, healing and auto-attacking, are very important for playing this character, and part of the reason why she has such a... It is part of the reason that she has such a high skill floor. I think that's the right phrase. Anyway, our W, one of the best things about Tyrande, and basically the focal point for this build, is called Sentinel. Sentinel is an owl that we can throw out in a global range. You just saw me toss it up to the top lane there to try to help Vala out. But it is going to do damage, 135 damage to the first hero hit, and is going to reveal them for 5 seconds. Now, launching that bad boy across the map is going to give you vision. You can throw it towards camps to get vision on where the enemy team might be. You can throw it towards bushes if you want to make sure that you're not getting ganked, or if the enemy team is trying to rotate for some sort of gank or pressure or something like that. You can basically throw it anywhere on the map to find people doing or setting up for annoying things. Especially playing against Abathur, that ability is going to be extremely useful, because you can pressure an Abathur so ridiculously hard with Sentinel that they have to freak out and go all the way back to their base, or be so... on top of their tunnel cooldown that, it's wasted, and then somebody can maybe possibly jump in on them, kill them. But a lot of the things that Sentinel can do are really important, and it, again, is going to be the focus of this build as I just get shredded from the Hogger gank all the way from the top lane. Vala is going to be working on the objective, though. Thank God that she's doing that. I seem to have lost control of the camera. That's cool. Ooh, I'm happy with this. Yeah, no, literally cannot move the bounding box. So we're just full-on stuck on observing my camera unless I change it to another hero. And that's... man, love the replay system in HOTS. Anyway, our E is called Lunar Flare. After 0.75 seconds, we're going to deal 183 damage and stun enemies in the target area by 0.75 seconds. So an AoE stun that's going to fall onto the ground after a short delay. It is incredibly strong follow-up CC for targets that have a very clear engage. Unfortunately, Muradin isn't really that type of tank. He's not a Diablo. He's not like an ETC. He's not... It's not as easy to see Muradin going in for a stun on top of all the healing and the auto-attacking and all that shit you have to do. Diablo is just like, wham! And you can see it. ETC, again, sliding in. Very clear. But It's not to say that it's the hardest thing in the universe. If a character is stunned and you notice it in time, you can still land your Lunar Flare with plenty of time to spare and create a chain CC that is going to lock people into death. And the best way to do that is by using your trait on the characters that are stunned. Your trait's called Hunter's Mark, and it is going to reveal non-struck, so basically anything that's not a building, and we're going to reduce the armor of that target by 15 for 4 seconds. And you can imagine having 15 less armor for 4 seconds while being stun locked by a tank and a Tyrande stun. It's going to make it really easy to kill whoever you're targeting. Obviously, it's a bit more difficult in Quick Match, but if you're picking Tyrande in a draft or you're playing with a team that is looking for that kind of thing, there you have it. I think this character is just absolutely fucking amazing at doing that kind of thing. Sucks that Zarya got away. We did drop our mark on her, but Orphea didn't have... Ooh, Orphea getting the kill on Lily instead. I'll take it. Way to go. Fantastic DPS there. Now, our ultimate choices with Tyrande are a little bit more difficult. And it's not difficult in the way that, ooh, she shielded at the last fucking second. That owl would have killed her. It's not that the ults themselves are difficult to use. It's that they just kind of suck. Now, Shadowstalk, what it's going to do is you're going to press R, and your entire team is going to go invisible, and they are going to heal for a moderate amount of health. I think... Let's see what it is. It's only 520 at level 8, so I think it's only going to be around 600 to 700 at level 10, which is kind of whatever. And that, again, when it makes your team invisible, your team has to know how to use the invisibility. So if they're wasting that, then half of the ability is completely useless. It's one of those abilities that can really shine in coordinated play, but just struggles to be anything more than a heal button on your whole team in other game modes. So, the Starfall is the other ults, though it's only dealing 131 damage per second, and it slows enemies by 20% in an area. The area is pretty small. I mean, compared to other things, it's not small, but it's about the size of the Immortal's stun. When he spins, his spin stun. It's about that size. And since it's only slowing for 20%, the amount of damage that it's actually going to get on people who are not moving out of it, or are trying to move out of it, is probably anywhere from 200 to 300 damage. It's just, I don't know. It's more of a sieging tool. It's kind of like a shitty Hyperion. Yeah. Part of the problem with Tyrande is that her ults just... They suck, man. They're just not fun. But on top of that, you can see how good she is at enabling a carry. Especially since Abathur had the hat on the Vala the whole time. Since our auto attacks and Vala's auto attacks were going on the same target, it's really easy to just burst people into the ground. Because Vala and I have the same target. We do the same type of damage. We're just very good at killing things. It's nice. It's really, really nice. So, the Immortal's dead. I suggest that the team leave now. Even though there's only a Zarya there, the rest of the team is coming. Oh, and there's the Deathwing, and there's everybody else. So, we're going to lose our Vala, who has literally 5% mana. Tough stuff. Oh, good. We're doing a camp in the middle of all of that that's happening. Yeah. Let's talk about the build, though, since we have some time to do that. Ranger is going to be our level 1 talent. Sentinel is going to pierce the first hero hit, and its width is going to be increased by 25% and deal up to 250% more damage based on the distance traveled. So the further that the owl goes, the more damage that it's going to do, up to... If the owl's doing 200 damage, if it travels the full distance, I believe it can do, if I'm doing the math right, it's about 700 damage per owl. And that can hit 2 people. So if the enemy team is clumped up on a camp, 2 people are going to get hit from really far away for a lot of damage. And then the talents that we're taking later on in the build are going to buff that extremely hard as well. It's time to leave. The enemy team is going to collapse here. Varian making the wrong choice to run backwards. We're just going to take an easy kill and leave. Because again, they get to clear that camp. They're collapsing on it. We don't want to be on their side of the map. Anyway, so the next set of abilities for our 4 and 7 talents are going to be not owls, but it's because we don't have owl talents on these tiers. Elun's Chosen is our level 4 talent. This is a 30-second cooldown activatable ability that you are going to place on a character. Usually going to be your tank, because when they dive in, you want to be able to heal them most. But Elun's Chosen is going to heal the target that you've chosen for 175% of the damage of your basic attacks. So, what that means is that when you put that on your tank, who then dives in, soaking up a lot of attention and damage, you're kind of free to follow behind them with your auto attacks and heal them up a lot more. Not to mention, if you're getting extra damage off of your Hunter's Mark, you're going to heal them ridiculously harder, even beyond that. My God, my nose is itchy today. Valabot still trying her hardest. But again, basic attacks being a really important part of Tyrande's kit. You need to be able to do that, and you need to be able to choose a character that your auto attacks benefit. So, tanks usually the best option, but you're a healer. Make the decision on your own. Whoever needs the healing. Especially in cases where if we were just, say Vala was like 5% health and all we were doing is racing, I could put my Elun's Chosen on her, and then we could basically have her back up to full by the end of the Immortal race there, which is pretty good. And then considering it's an 8-second duration on a 30-second cooldown, it makes the actual cooldown of the ability only 22 seconds. Good stuff. Valabot and myself are split off from the team. Orphea is distracting, it looks like, a couple people on her side, while Zarya runs in and gets her face just blown off. Now Orphea is still on the flank, and the enemy team is finally deciding that they may need to deal with her. Doesn't look like they've added enough attention, but we are going to lose the Immortal. That's why they were so split. Luckily for us, killing them on top of them taking the Immortal is pretty good for us, because it makes the defense a lot easier. Now, our level 7 talent Moonlit Arrows basic attacks are going to decrease the cooldown of the Light of Elune by 0.75 additional seconds. So that takes it from 1.5 to 2.25, meaning that the cooldown for both charges of our Q can be up extremely often, assuming that we get enough time to auto attack. So, really, really strong stuff there. And that's just it. The spell armor and the splash on our trait really, I don't think, compare to that ability even in the slightest. Because Tyrande only has 1 heal button, 2 if you count her ult, which I don't. But you need to have that ability up more often than anything else in your kit. And that's why you need it. 13, our talent building into the Owl again is going to be Harsh Moonlight. Sentinel slows by 35% and reduces damage by 35% for 4 seconds. And since Sentinel can now pierce through people, this basically gives your Owl a kind of global engage. So, if you can manage to hit a character from far enough away that you deal that bonus damage to them, and slow them, and reduce their damage, let's say into the solo lane, oh my god, Valabot just walking into all the damage, not really understanding that she can't be there, and my team not really understanding that we have a Valabot and then trying to engage versus 5 people. I don't get it. Trying to heal everybody that I can, it's just not happening. Valabot goes down, I am upset. And now we're left with Orphea, Tyrande, and Muradin to try to stave off a 5-person siege. It's not impossible, surely, but definitely not easy either. I'm just pressing my Q button as often as I possibly can. If Orphea dies, we're just kind of fucked. There it is. Remember, even though we're not attacking heroes, if we just attack these goats or the minions, we can still get the cooldown reduction on our Q and then heal up crazy hard. I don't know why anybody didn't kill Hogger. And I can only heal you when you're close to me. Murden's still going in thinking he is an assassin, but he does have the hat on Abathur, and I am just going to get blasted by the Zarya and the Deathwing. Really unfortunate, but Zarya's going to die eventually as well. Hate it. Just hate it. No one pinging the Volabot on my team, which is really tragic because that is where all the race is. If you could just, you know, pick the bot up, it will do its job still. But it's really hard to tell people what to do with just pings since chat's off. Yeah, whatever. 16 talent we are going to pick up in power. Reduce Sentinel's cooldown by 3 seconds, which is super important because that ability is on a 15-second cooldown. Having it on 12 is nice. And then heroes hit by Sentinel take bonus damage equal to 7% of their maximum health. Holy butts! 7% is nuts, on top of the 700 to 900 damage that we're already doing if we're hitting that bad boy from the entire map away. Oh my god, it feels so good killing people with owls. I'm just going to lay it right out there. If the Abathur was on the other team, I would be having a field day just rocketing owls at his face wherever I think he would be. So, good stuff. And that's going to do it for the Owl build. 13, 16, and 1 are the talents that you need for it. At level 20, we would be taking Shooting Star, increasing basic attack damage, or range, by 1. And then every 8th basic attack, we're going to get a free Lunar Flare at a random enemy near Tyrande's position. Prefers heroic targets. So, all the auto-attacking that we're doing in this game is going to give us so many free Lunar Flares that we can just kind of get random stuns wherever we need them. We don't really need Murden to engage for us anymore. Having 2 stuns from your E up at random intervals is really good for kind of just making the team, the enemy team, stand in weird positions, which is awesome. So I think, honestly, that is the best talent at the tier. What's the star? Shadowstalk reveals all enemy heroes for 10 seconds and heals for 50% more. I don't think that is even remotely good enough. It used to just reveal all enemy heroes at 10, and I don't know if it was healing. I don't know. Tyrande's ults still suck. Don't take the upgrades. Take one of the either Shooting Star or Ice Blade arrows. I don't even think Celestial Wrath is worth it, to be perfectly honest with you. Ice Blade arrows, increasing our attack speed, and it's reducing damage on people that we attack. But obviously both the other talents at 20 are going to be much better than the ult upgrades, and they're both tied to your auto attacks, which are both very important for what Tyrande's doing anyway. So ignore the 20 upgrades for your ults, pick the good stuff. That's the final lesson for Tyrande. Focus on your basic attacks as much as you possibly can. You want to play her like an auto attack carry, and in doing that you're going to be able to heal so much more often than you normally would. I didn't make it on the board. Here's the build again in case you need it. It's going to be a Ranger. This is a Loon's Chosen at 4, Moonlit Arrows at 7, Shadowstalk at 10, Harsh Moonlight at 13, Empower at 16, and then 20 would have been Shooting Star, the upgrade for the stuns on our auto attacks. Well, that's going to be it for Tyrande. Tomorrow we will be back with... Who else is on the list for this week? I have a few. I'm going to leave it up in the air for now until I decide. But thanks so much for watching. GG's, and I will see you next time.